everyone, welcome to Sweet Tomato Vine Homestead. I'm Linda, and today I am back in the garden and I am going to plant these onion seeds that I had planned to plant in my previous video, but I did not, so I am planting them today. These are some seeds that I purchased from Johnny Seeds last year, and I want to get these seeds planted. In the past, I have not had any success with my onion seeds after I have had them for over a year, so it's just becoming a rule of thumb for me in my garden to go ahead, plant those onion seeds the first year, or if I end up with them the next year, that's as far as I'm going to take it. I'm going to go ahead and get them all planted. Okay, so all of these are short day onions, and the varieties that I have are Red Rock, Patterson, Madeline, and Candy. And these are going to get planted in these small cells right here. I'm going to plant all of these seeds. So if I have some more cells left, when I'm finished with these, I will plant some other crops. But right now, I'm concentrating on these onions. And so I am going to add some amendments to my soil. This is not something that I do all the time when I'm starting seedling, but in this case with these onions, I'm going to add some amendments and try to give these the best chance I possibly can. First thing that I'm going to be adding is this black gold worm casting. And I'm going to add about a cup. So this is 1/3 cup. So I'm going to add about I guess that's about a cup. That's a cup. I added a cup of the worm castings. I'm going to add a cup of the bone meal. A 1/3 cup of the blood meal. And a 1/3 cup of the Happy Frog fertilizer. All-purpose, slow-release fertilizer. Okay, so I'm going to mix these amendments into my soil. Make sure you get it mixed in good. Now I'm just going to moisten my soil. You just want this soil moistened. You don't want it to be just dripping wet. It's just moist. And now I'm going to fill my trays. And then I'm going to push the soil down into these cells. And then I'm going to top it off with some more potting mix. Okay, so now that I made sure that all my cells are nice and full, I'll just rake off my excess. And the reason you want to do that, you want to make sure that these onion seeds don't go down to the bottom of your container and get lost at the bottom, because if they get lost, then you can't really expect to have any germination on those seeds. Okay, so this first one, I am going to add my red rock. And y'all, I have really enjoyed my red onions this season. They are so delicious. And as you can see, those onion seeds are tiny. And I'm just gonna sprinkle them on top. I'm not gonna try to count these little tiny seeds, because as I told you all, these seeds are probably close to the end of their cycle, that they are going to be viable for me. And so I am just going to make sure I go ahead and, if I can, get the most out of them. And it doesn't matter if there are 10 of these plants in each of these cells, that would be okay, because at some point I will be separating these plants from each other and pulling them apart. Okay, so now I'm going to cover them. First, I'm going to mist them very lightly, very lightly. I just want to make sure that I'm getting a good contact with my seeds in my soil. So this is on a mist. Okay, and I'm going to top it with some vermiculite. And that's what I'm going to use to cover my seeds. That is going to keep the fungus gnats away. Also, they're going to keep the fungus from growing on top of my trays. Going to help with moisture retention, and it looks nice. And that is my red rock. So we're going to go ahead and label that. I'm going to write Johnny's on the back so I can remember that that's where these seeds came from. Okay, so we got one tray completed. And the next one I'm going to do is the hybrid yellow. Okay, there are not as many in this seed packet, so let's see. Okay, there are more in this one. I'm not going to be able to use all of these in these seed packets, but I'm going to be able to use most of them. So I still have one little cell tray over here. So we're just going to see how it plays out. Now, if you don't have all the things that I put in here, don't worry about it. I don't think absolutely necessary, because we already know that most of the time those seeds are supposed to have everything they're needing to get germinated. So don't worry about it if you don't have the amendments. But I just felt like it just really could not hurt to go ahead and add some amendments to my soil to give these onions the best chance that's possible. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and push all of the soil down into my container cells. And then I'm gonna go back and top them all off with some more soil to make sure that they are full. And that is gonna keep our seeds from falling to the bottom of the tray and getting lost. Okay, so once we know that they're, you can go back and push them in again. So once you know that they are all filled, then you can start to removing some of the excess potting mix. And I don't know about you all, but I use onions every day. Every time I cook, I use onions. That's most of the way that I start the cooking process off. Sauteing some onions or cutting up some onions to put into the recipe. And so onions are a very big part of our meal. And if we didn't have them, we would really miss them. So that's why I make sure that I plant a lot of onions. Last year, it may have seemed like I was planting too many onions, but y'all, now it seems like I maybe not have planted enough onions because of the fact that I already know that I'm going to be sharing those onions with friends and family. So that's important to me also. It's not like I just want it for myself. I want to, I want my family and friends to have some onions too. I don't want them to be at the grocery store buying onions. If I can be able to supply my friends and my family, then that makes me feel good if I can supply them with some onions. Yeah, this is a lot of onions, and I mean, I'm putting a lot of seeds on the top, in case that there's poor germination, or, even if 10, as I said, germinate on each one of these containers, that would be fine. Because as you know, the onions will be small, and you can easily separate them. Okay, so now I got them all on there, all on top. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mix them in. Now I did not do this side right here. All this is taken care of, but right here there are no seeds. I'm just gonna lightly mix that. And that was the Madeline. So I'm gonna make 3 labels for the Madeline, because if I don't, sometimes they get mixed up when the plants actually start growing. So I'm gonna put 3. It's 98 degrees out here right now. But I want to come on out and get these planted, because the more you put it off, the more time that passes by, the less likely you'll be able to get the germination that you want by the time that you actually have to plant. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to go ahead, get these seeds planted, so that when it is time for them to go out after the winter solstice, I will already have everything taken care of. But this is the one that I don't have very many in, so I'll save those for that little small container. And the last one that I'll be putting in this container are the candy. Y'all, candy onions are delicious. Okay, so this would be enough for this area right here. Got a big piece of something right there, wood. I'm gonna go ahead and get that out. Don't need onions trying to push through a big piece of wood. So you all don't be intimidated by planting onions. If you're having a hard time getting your onion seeds to germinate, do those onion seeds the same way you're doing those carrots. Keep sowing those seeds. Don't just give up and say, you know, well, I didn't get any onions. I don't care how many times it takes to sow. If you got seeds, you know, go ahead and sow those seeds over and over again until you get the germination that you want. And being sure, once you're sure that you've gotten the germination you want, that is going to ensure that you get the harvest that you want. Go ahead and add my vermiculite on top. We have a tray of onions. Each one of these trays has 72 cells. And if I have 5 onions that to come through in each one of those, then that is 300 and, how many onions? See, you know this math thing. But if I have, what did I say, 72? So that'd be 72 times 5. That'd be 350. I think that's 350 onions. So or 360. I think that's 360 onions. Y'all, I might be wrong, but y'all, I tell y'all, you know, I can do some math, but that's just kind of on top of my head. So it's either 350 or 360. I think it's 360. Yeah, 5 times 2, 10, right to 0, carry 1. 5 times 7 is 35. With the first one you carry is 36. That's 360 onions. So that is a lot of onions in just that container. 360 onions, y'all. Can you imagine 360 onions? That's a lot of onions. So I am, this don't even mention the other ones that we got. We still got this little tiny tray right here that we are going to put about, what was this, 6? We're going to put about, that's 12. We're going to put about 70 in this little container. And this is going to be the Patterson variety. So let's go ahead and get those. Y'all, where them gloves go? They got to be over here. There they are, hiding back there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get these Pattersons planted. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. This one's small. I can just put it into this container. That way I won't lose any of my soil. This one don't have a tray, but we will, I mean, it doesn't have a bottom tray, but we will find a bottom tray so it can hold the water, because one thing you do not want is your seedlings to dry out. Y'all, I think that's most important, is not letting these seeds to dry out before they are germinated. Even after they're germinated, but definitely not before, because if you dry them out, let them dry out, then those seeds is just not going to be viable anymore. So let's not let the seed dry out. Go ahead and get some moisture on there. Remove my seeds. And this thing, I guess I dropped it and it moved from where I had it. So I need to stop dropping it for one thing. But it's hard to stop dropping it. I guess if I had something to hang it on, the hook or something, but I don't have one, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these seeds on here. Y'all, I'm excited because I'm getting to an early start, off to an early start on planting my onions. Not waiting around till the last minute. Sometimes, you know, you get busy with other things and you might end up not getting your seeds planted in a timely manner. But let's try to, you know, stay on track as we possibly can. And I think that, in my opinion, I worry too much about, am I planting this too early? Yeah, we need to stop worrying so much about, are we planting it too early, and worry about not planting it too late. Because if you plant it too late, it's going to be a whole lot worse off if you had planted it too early. So go ahead, get your seeds planted. You don't always have to take those seeds outside. that is one thing that I have gotten better at, and that is being able to stand having my plants inside. At one point, y'all, it got on my nerves to have those plants inside the house on that grow station. And when I had that greenhouse, it was just like, that was absolutely nerve-wracking to have to take those out, bring them back in, and take them back out again. And then if something happened, if, you know, had a freeze or temperatures were dropping, then it was, or whatever, the temperatures were fluctuating and not favorable for those seedlings being outside. Yeah, that was so nerve-wracking to me. So the next year, I stopped. And I was trying to find other ways to do it without going ahead, planting my seeds up and putting them on my growth station and letting them germinate. And I think my garden suffered because of that. So this way, I think that I am back on track. I think that those seedlings, I've been getting some great seedlings. The ones that I have on my growth station right now, they look really nice. And so if I stay on track the way that I am, I think that I'll be able to have a wonderful fall garden. So that is what I would suggest that you do. Go ahead, get your seeds that you want to have for this fall garden. Start putting them in the soil. I know some people are still nursing a summer garden. I understand that. I still have stuff out in my summer garden that I am still trying to hold on to. I told y'all the other day I was going to go ahead and I was going to pull out that ground cherry. That ground cherry is still out there dropping ground cherries, but it looks horrible. I am going to pull that ground cherry out probably. I don't know if I'm going to do it tomorrow because, like I said, right at this moment, it is 98 degrees and I am sweating like I'm melting. So I am going to pull it out, but it probably will not be tomorrow. I'll probably do something that's going to, not call for digging, because, the moment I pull that ground cherry out, what I'm going to want to do, I'm going to want to plant that bed up. And so I don't know if I'm going to have a favorable amount of cool weather, cooler weather in order to do it, because I don't want to do it. If I'm just standing here melting like this, you can imagine how I would be sweating if I was out there pulling out plants and digging and getting ready. Well, I don't do a lot of digging, I just, as I say, I dish the soil up with my little rake. But I don't want to do anything that's going to be strenuous or that's going to put me in harm's way as far as this heat is concerned. So with all that being said, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to label this last one. And this is my candy. I think this was the candy. No, y'all, what? Did I have candy already? This is the candy. This is the candy onions. And I am going to go ahead and put my label on, and I'm going to say goodnight to you all. And I hope that you all have enjoyed the video and that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And go ahead and hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload a new video. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.